Here are some tips on how to treat your wife, the Prophet's way. 1. Treat your wife justly. Prophet Muhammad treated his wives justly, without any discrimination in terms of food, drinks, and spending. As for emotions, he is like any human being. He might feel inclined to one wife more than the other. The best example to demonstrate this justice is that he used to take one of his wives with him on his travels. 2. Never insult your wife. Prophet Muhammad never hurt or hit any of his wives. His wife, Lady Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, said, "The Messenger of Allah never hit anything with his hand, neither a servant nor a woman, but of course, he did fight for the cause of Allah. He never took revenge upon anyone for the wrong done to him, but of course, he exacted retribution for the sake of Allah, in case the injunctions of Allah about unlawful acts were violated." Same Muslim. 3. Fear God. Prophet Muhammad observed God's consciousness when he dealt with his wives. He said, "Fear Allah concerning women. Verily you have taken them on the security of Allah, and intercourse with them has been made lawful unto you by words of Allah." At-Tirmidhi. 4. Maintain your wife's rights. Muawiyah asked, "Messenger of Allah, what is the right of the wife of one of us over him?" He replied, "That you should give her food when you eat, clothe her when you clothe yourself, do not strike her on the face, do not revile her or separate yourself from her except in the house." Abu Dawood. 5. Take a bath together. To confirm his close relationship with his wives, Prophet Muhammad used to take baths with his wife from one vessel. Al-Bukhari. 6. Be cheerful with your wife. Aisha said, "I used to play with the dolls in the presence of the Prophet, and my girlfriends also used to play with me. When Allah's messenger used to enter my dwelling place, they used to hide, but the Prophet would call them to join and play with me." Al-Bukhari. 7. Always praise your wife. Prophet Muhammad used to praise his wives and acknowledge their good manners. He said, "The superiority of Aisha to other women is like the superiority of thread to other kinds of food." Al-Bukhari. 8. Be patient with your wife. Prophet Muhammad never blamed any of his wives. While the Prophet was in the house of one of his wives, one of the mothers of the believers sent a meal in a dish. The wife at whose house the Prophet was, struck the hand of the servant, causing the dish to fall and break. The Prophet gathered the broken pieces of the dish and then started collecting on them the food which had been in the dish and said, "Your mother, my wife, felt jealous." Then he detained the servant till a sound dish was brought from the wife at whose house he was. He gave the sound dish to the wife whose dish had been broken and kept the broken one at the house where it had been broken. Al-Bukhari. When Abu Bakr asked the permission of the Prophet to come in, he heard Aisha speaking in a loud voice. So, when he entered, he caught hold of her in order to slap her, and said, "Do I see you raising your voice to the Messenger of Allah?" The Prophet began to prevent him and Abu Bakr went out angry. The Prophet said when Abu Bakr went out, "You see, I rescued you from the man." Abu Bakr waited for some days, then asked permission from the Messenger of Allah to enter, and found that they had made peace with each other. He said to them, "Bring me into your peace as you brought me into your war." The Prophet said, "We have done so, we have done so." Abu Dawood. 9. Have fun with your wife. Aisha, while she was on a journey along with the Messenger of Allah, said, "I had a race with him, the Prophet, and I outstripped him on my feet. When I became fleshy, again, I had a race with him, the Prophet, and he outstripped me." He said, "This is for that outstripping." Abu Dawood, 10. Call your wife with the name she likes. Prophet Muhammad used to call Lady Aisha with the name Aish. She reported that Allah's messenger said, "O Aish, this is Gabriel sending his greetings to you." I said, "Peace and Allah's mercy be on him." Aisha added, "The Prophet used to see things which we use not to see." 11. Help your wife with the housework. Many wives complain that their husbands do not help them with the housework. But the Prophet used to help his wives with the housework. Hisham said, I asked Aisha, what did the Prophet do in his house? She replied, he did what one of you would do in his house. He mended sandals and patched garments and sewed. Authenticated by Al-Albani. 12. Learn proper etiquette. Prophet Muhammad used to sit beside his camel letting his knees for his wife, Safiya, put her feet on so as to mount the camel. Al-Bukhari. 13. Be kind even when you are angry. Aisha reported that Allah's messenger said to her, I know when you are pleased with me or angry with me. I said, whence do you know that? He said, when you are pleased with me, you say, no, by the Lord of Muhammad, but when you are angry with me, then you say, no, by the Lord of Abraham. Thereupon I said, yes, you are right, but by Allah, O Allah's messenger, I leave nothing but your name. Al-Bukhari. 14. Pray next to your wife. Aisha said, I used to sleep in front of the messenger of Allah, and my feet were in the direction of his Qibla. When he prostrated he nudged me, and I drew up my feet, then when he stood up I stretched them out again, and there were no lamps in the houses at the time. An-Nasa'i. Maymuna bint al-Harith reported, my bed was beside the praying place of the Prophet and sometimes his garment fell on me while I used to lie in my bed. Bukhari. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share.